Hey everyone, sound check. Let me know if you can hear me and if the audio level's good. Sound level's good, everything good. You guys can hear and see, hopefully. All right, appreciate it, Seth. So another week down, another live stream, and tell you what, guys, the week felt like it really dragged. I'm pretty tired of being at home, and I don't know. I'm freaking tired of being home. I really want sushi. First world problems, no doubt. But anyways, yeah, we're going to do another live stream. A bunch of you guys left questions either on Instagram or on the post that I put up on YouTube. You can like put posts up and stuff, so that's what I did. I apologize if I sniffle. My allergies are rocking pretty bad right now, and I'm trying not to OD on the allergy medicine, because allergy medicine is an immunosuppressant, and immunosuppressants right now are probably not the best thing. So yes, that is a fancy ass wallet rabbit hole. So I'm glad you like it. I can talk about it a little bit. But yeah, lots of questions. So anyways, sadly I don't have anything new this week. Usually I start off with like new stuff that I got during the week. It's been a slow week for me. You know, I'm home, like I'm surfing Blade HQ and other dealers. I'm looking at custom knives. I've got a couple things kind of pending at the moment. I might pick up some like budget knives this week just to be able to share with you guys on the live stream next weekend. But it's been a pretty slow week. I'm trying not to blow through the cash that I have on hand, because things are a little bit dicey at the moment. In terms of finance and the finance world. So Tom from Denmark, welcome. Yeah, Colin's saying nice home EDC today, and that is 100% true. I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing anything, but you know, I still try to get up, take a shower first thing in the morning, get dressed, put stuff in my pocket. It's like the only sense of normalcy that I get at the moment. So you know, just trying to go with that, and even throughout the work week, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not rolling into work, you know, like in my pajamas and stuff, because I feel like I would just be incredibly unproductive. So still trying to keep a routine going. Anyhow, Hyla wants me to talk about pocket clips. Seth, you started collecting because of me. Well, I'm sorry to do that to you. No doubt you're happier now, but a lot poorer. Yeah. So some of the, so right now, obviously, things are a little dicey financially, but we're probably going to see some really good sales coming up, both from dealers, and then if you're looking at like used knives on the secondary market, there's going to be some pretty solid deals coming out. So if you have a little extra cash that you can put towards fun things, now is going to kind of be the time to do it. So that's exciting-ish. Anyways, this is what I have on me today. Got my Seiko Alpinist. This is the SARB 017. This is now discontinued. I'm going to line up that. Now discontinued. It's on a strap code bracelet made specifically for the SARB. So love this watch. Great option. You get a lot of really good value out of Seiko. Especially on the higher end. I mean, they've got some cheap stuff, but you know, you can really get into the upper echelon of watches with Seiko too. So so Colin already picked up a Shiro and a Gavco for good deals. Yeah, dude, no doubt. Do have the ZT0562 on me today. It's got that really cool but unnecessary superconductor over travel stop. A guy by the name of Rival Knife Works made that for me. So, still a really cool knife. Wallet is Willow Craft Goods. It's yeah, it's a wallet like so. It's got a couple internal pockets and then a cash slot in the back. So he was just trying this out for a while. Nicely made, really good leather quality. And then my much beloved yet discontinued zero tolerance pen. I don't even remember the model number. These things are gone. They're really hard to find now. I wish I had bought more when they were in stock and on sale. So yeah. All right, so that's what I've got in my pocket today. Some of the things that I did want to talk about, or some of the things that I was asked to talk about, I mean, there's a lot of things that I was asked to talk about. Let me throw just something in front of the camera here while I look through the notes. What wallet do you usually carry? Colin asks. Either, well, this one right now, the Willowcraft Goods, but Das Olfini Mir. I've carried his wallets for years now. Really, really like his wallets. Super good guy. So I have tons of videos on those wallets. All right. So I don't know if I should start with some of the questions that were asked on. I don't have anything new, I don't think. I think I showed you guys on the last live stream kind of the newer stuff that I had on hand, but I don't have anything new really at the moment. Although let's start with these two. So these are two that I've actually had for a while, but I haven't done videos on or really shared on YouTube. But two super cool knives. One of them you guys know. The other one is probably a bit of a mystery to you guys. So this is the J-Bin Genix Chaos Samurai. And so he's a maker out of China, and he collaborated with Riot Knives on this one. So Riot produced the handle, and then he produced, or he hand ground all the blades. He primarily does some like really crazy grinding. Let me find his Instagram. J-Bin Genix. So here's this guy, and he does some really crazy grinds. Like he's a really amazing at grinding. So the one in front of us is more the plain Jane, but he did some customs with like polished blades and stuff that were really, really insane. A lot more expensive. This one was to the tune of like $375. Some of these custom ones with polished blades were like $1,200, so quite a bit more. Here's the one that I really, really liked. This one had a polished blade, and it had like a copper bronze carbon fiber. Love that one, but way more expensive. So anyways, that's who he is. So he primarily does some really crazy grind work. His stuff is really top notch, and you know, this hand ground blade is outstanding. Kind of a Boblum Tonto with the flat tip and the the hollow primary grind here. But the thing that's really cool about this one is definitely going to be that inlay work. The dog hair, of course, there's dog hair. Look how clean that is. Those things look absolutely perfect. So, and then it uses the two larger, kind of a faux backspace. You just have the two thicker pieces of titanium that were milled out. So, yeah. So, anyways, this is one that they're really hard to get. He doesn't produce very many of them. They're pretty interesting. So, yeah. I didn't even know when this dropped. I picked it up from another collector who had it up for sale after it dropped, and yeah, glad I did. This is one that I get offers for more than pretty much any other production knife that I own. Although it's not, I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. I mean, it's hand ground, and then Riot did the handles, so whatever you want to call it. The other one that I've shown a few times but haven't really done any video work with is the Jack 2 by Riot. This one's super interesting. We have a polished blade here on one side and then a satin blade on the other. This was one of two prototypes that they brought to Blade Show last year, and I picked up one of them. So that's why they were experimenting with polished finishes, hence the polished on one side and satin on the other. So that makes it really, really unique. It is an integral, And it does have a carbon fiber show scale that is internally attached on an integral, which is super duper cool. The lock side, they just attach the screws externally, but the show side, no hardware showing. It's all internal on this crazy knife. So I don't know, I probably should do a video on it. I think there's a lot of videos on it now because I just drug my feet so much. So this is the Riot Jack 2. This is the Chaos Samurai. So answer those questions. Alright, let's see what some of you guys are saying. So, Hilo asks, what are your thoughts on the Benchmade knife being given away on Blade HQ? Let's look at it real quick together. Because, I'm pretty sure I already tagged someone in that, but the, oh yeah. So, I think this is a mini Crooked River. Gold class Crooked River. Maybe it's the full-size Crooked River. I really like the mini Crooked River. The mini Crooked River is one of the best knives from Benchmade in a long time, in my opinion. But yeah, I really like some of the gold class knives, but they're just so expensive. Like they're more expensive than custom knives, and I don't think they should be, but that's just me. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, price on Benchmade $1,500. Yeah, it's just it's unnecessarily expensive. The interesting thing though is, you know, they sell and they always sell out. I think that guys who maybe walk into gun shops and they see that and they're there to pick up a, you know, a $3,000 gun, they don't really worry too much about a $1,500 knife because it looks really cool. So, and some of the gold class Benchmades that I've handled actually do have better fit and finish than the production line, which you would hope for, like you would almost demand at that price point, right? So some of the ones I've handled have been really nice, smoother, you know, better centered, just really nice kind of hand-tuned ones. So all right, let's move those two out of the way. So I was asked to share this one specifically on my live stream today. I don't remember who asked, I apologize. So let's turn to some of the questions from Instagram. Oh my gosh, there's actually a lot of comments. So one question comes from Dr. Frunke. He asks, makers you recently unfollowed? I don't really want to name them, but I do have a couple pet peeves when it comes to makers on any social media platform. Let's put something else down here. I do have a couple pet peeves, and it's not about this knife. But some of the pet peeves are going to be people who do the F my haters post. I can't stand that. It's just so high school. I don't know. It just comes across as incredibly immature. I can't stand the F my haters posts. The best course of action is to act like they don't exist, and then they won't. People also makers posting huge stacks of money. I think that's in very poor taste, and it makes me feel like I'm overpaying for knives if you feel the need to show off money. I don't like that. And then just the general drama, you know, terrible customer service, maybe taking designs from people that are not quite yours and not crediting them, just poor conduct in general, and I'll unfollow makers for that, or collector. I'll unfollow anyone if you act trashy. So let's see what what are you guys asking? What's a good knife you'd recommend for $75? Well, let's see. That's from Zach T. Zach, how about for $80? I just recommend the Kershaw Dividend. It's one that I bought recently because I really like it. So it's right in that price range, but I think it's a really cool knife. Seth wants to know, what's a budget ZT that you would recommend? I mean, I don't really know what qualifies as a budget ZT. They haven't done any limited editions for a while. And I would love for them to get back to a limited edition at some point, because I do miss those. But if you like knives on washers, then the 640 is really good. Excuse me. In the rabbit hole, have you ever tried TBC knives? I might follow him. Yeah, Trevor Berger Customs. So this is what Into the Rabbit Hole is asking about, is TBC, Trevor Berger Customs, South African maker, I believe. Trevor Co.za. Yeah, I think Trevor Berger's South African. Maybe I'm wrong. They look good. I mean, I do follow him, so and I think I've gotten to handle his knives. I think I handled some of his knives at Blade Show last year, and I'm pretty sure that I liked them. So someone to follow and potentially try out, yeah. Ooh, and Borka got on the Brown Knives LHC custom list, semi-custom list. That's really cool. You have to let me know what options you go with. I really like my LHCX. Okay. Yeah, a couple of you guys like Trevor Berger Customs, so yeah, good options. So Zach's recommending that you get a 0566, a ZT0566, and de-assist that. That could be a good one. I like the 0077, I think. I think that one's pretty nice. Again, most of the less expensive ZTs are the speed assist. For most people, they don't. The non-knife enthusiasts like speed assist more than they like manual, but enthusiasts certainly prefer manual and ball bearings and that sort of thing, or really good washers like the 640 here. This thing is, it's not really showing well, but it's really broken in. It's really smooth. So very, very cool from ZT here. So, all right, let me look at some of the other questions from Instagram here. So here's one. So Eric B. Like on Instagram, and this is one that I kind of prepared for, asked me what my knife journey is. And so I think everyone here has kind of a knife story, or how they got into knives, or kind of how that whole thing came about. And for me, it started way back in Boy Scouts. And I'll get to this knife in a minute. But, you know, growing up when Boy Scouts were still kind of a thing before that organization has all but fallen apart, I used to go camping and hiking and, you know, earn my merit badges and do all that kind of cool stuff. And I really enjoyed it when I was younger. And when you're a Boy Scout, one of the really... hold on, this is going to die. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Give me 1 second. Alright, 1 sec. Got something that's about to power off and I don't want it to. Why is it not charging? Dang it. So I'm using a tablet to read your comments, and my tablet for some reason says it's not charging, even though I have it plugged in, which is super cool. So This is how I'm following along with the comments. Come on, charge, you bastard. Alright guys, give me a sec here. Stupid thing. There we go. Alright. Woo! Good times with tech, huh? Okay. Alright, there we go. So, hopefully I didn't break anything while I was messing with all that crap. Alright, so... Man, alright, missed a lot of comments. Alright, so going back to kind of my knife story here. So Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts are super cool. Love doing the merit badges, hiking, camping, shooting bows and arrows and guns and building crap and Pinewood Derby. You know, all those fun things. Well, one of the cool things when you're a Boy Scout is definitely the pocket knife. And before I was a Boy Scout, I was a Cub Scout. Cub Scouts aren't allowed to have pocket knives. If you guys that were Boy Scouts, you might remember as kind of not a Swiss Army knife, but similar to it, had the Boy Scout logo on it and like the stag handles or faux stag handles. I don't even know what it was. I just remember seeing one of those and thinking, man, that's really cool. I can't wait till I'm a Boy Scout and I get one of those. And so I think that was kind of like the first step that started my affinity for knives was the Boy Scout time. And somewhere along the line, one of my grandfathers passed away, and I inherited a few knives from him, and this is the only one that I can find to this day. And this is just kind of a cheap lockback that, you know, I tried to fix up a little bit and clean and all that sort of thing. But I just remember I started carrying this thing in my pocket. This was in high school, probably, I don't know, like a freshman or a sophomore, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And so I'd carry it to school, which probably would have gotten me expelled, you know, growing up in California. I didn't pull it out or do anything stupid with it. I just really enjoyed carrying it. I thought it was super cool. So after these, I worked in a health food store as my first job, and we used box cutters galore. You know, I had a box cutter every day, and sometimes box cutters would go missing. And so one thing that I added to my keychain that I thought was super cool was one of these like Swiss utility type things, non-obtrusive. And so if my box cutter ever disappeared or I let someone borrow it and they freaking lost it, which seemed to happen a lot, I had this little thing as kind of like a backup on my keychain. So even though I wouldn't necessarily recommend this thing, I do have very fond memories, and I used this a lot to cut open boxes as I was unpacking and pricing and stocking and all that other jazz. So fond memories of this thing. And then at some point, you know, after I moved away to college and I lived in Utah, one of the things I realized that I could own was this. So once you decide that, hey, you know what, I can own guns and I can carry guns, kind of along the lines of that whole kind of like personal preparedness and all that other stuff, you think, all right, well, I probably also need to pick up and carry a flashlight, and I should probably pick up and carry a knife too. So, you know, Nothing Fancy was instrumental, as kind of a lot of, probably maybe to a lot of you guys. And the really cool thing about perhaps knives over guns is that I can carry this daily. I can go pretty much anywhere with it, and I do find it useful throughout the day. And so even though I've bought a lot more guns over the years, I had a greater affinity for the pocket knife just because it was something that I got to interact with more. And that led me to like the Spyderco Tenacious, the Spyderco Gale Bradley, into Benchmade, and then I remember buying my first CT, and then I remember buying my first customs, and it's just kind of been a really, really long and deep, dark dive down the rabbit hole since then. So anyways, that's kind of like my knife story. It starts off with a little thing here and there. And there were a couple knives that I bought when I was in Italy. I bought a knife that I carried too. That was in 06, I think, to 08. I carried a knife daily, and I found it useful. So anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my knife story, and I'm sure you guys have similar stories along the way. It may or may not involve Boy Scouts, but you probably gifted or inherited a knife at some point, or saw someone using one and thought that'd be really cool, and you probably just fell down the rabbit hole like me. So alright, let me look at some of the questions since I kind of got that story out of the way with some technical difficulties along the way. Let's see here. So, hi-lo, I have my dad's buck scale Lamp King from Scouts with me right now. Dude, that's super cool. Dad and I collected Bucks and Gerbers, lost all of them. Jack G. Hobby said, oh, that's unfortunate. So, let me bring some other knives kind of back on the table here. So one of the questions from Hunting for Sharp Things, most underrated makers. Honestly, so there's a couple things that happens. There are new makers every single day that pop up on social media, and they might be around, they may not. Some of them produce good stuff, some of them don't. Remember the responsibility card for owning the Boy Scout knife? I don't, TKO 593, but that sounds vaguely familiar. So, Eric, Utah is better in some ways than Arizona, but not in all ways. So that's the answer to your question. It doesn't snow here. They cut corners off the card if you made mistakes with the knife. Ooh, that does sound fun. Man, Boy Scouts was a good time. It's unfortunate that when I have kids, Boy Scouts probably won't exist, at least not in the way that I remember it. So back to the underrated knife makers. I think there's some really good talent out of South Africa that produce some really cool knives for good prices. I think South Africa still kind of has some untapped makers. We have someone like Clyde Challenor here and his Viper and Damacor steel. Not necessarily underrated per se, but he's, again, another really good South African maker. But I think South Africa still has some unknown makers. And then also France. We're seeing a lot of new makers come out of France right now. So I think it's more geographic locations than perhaps individual people. I don't have him here with me, but Sergei Rogovets is a USA maker, and his designs have been pretty eclectic, but his work is really, really good. So he's probably underrated, but in a sense it's also kind of his fault because he hasn't produced designs that necessarily appeal to a wide range of people. So, yeah. Derek Costa, Lavender Pants, asks, so here's one of his production collabs that's upcoming, Derek Costa. I haven't tried any of his customs, so I'm assuming they're probably pretty good, and I hope they're pretty good, but Derek Costa might be one. Cozy Steenkamp is definitely underrated. And again, he falls into that South African group. So, yeah. Again, there's some South African makers that are very highly coveted, like Jason Guthrie and, good luck getting on his books. And then you have other ones like Cozy Steenkamp, who I handled one or two of his knives at Blade Show this last year, and I was I was very, very impressed. And some of those you're getting for like sub $800, and they're incredible customs. So Colin asks, do you have any customs in the works? The answer is yes and maybe. I am going to get another Viper from Clyde Challenor. This one runs on washers. And it's nice and it's pretty smooth, but I really like bearings. And so I'm going to get one of these in bearings as well. It's going to be probably not like the super duper expensive Damacord though. This steel right here is ridiculously expensive. Like this piece of steel right here for the knife was probably $200 in just material without any labor. And that is ridiculous when, a piece of S35 VN, it's probably, I don't know, maybe like $15 worth of steel for this much. So tremendously expensive steel. Most overrated knives, in my opinion. Ooh. Overrated knives, huh? I don't know. I mean, I kind of think the Para 2 is kind of overrated, personally. That's going to upset a lot of people, but it's okay. It's good, but I don't necessarily know that it's, I don't know. I think the Para 2 is overrated. There, I said it. It's okay. So, yeah. It's going to upset a lot of people probably in this chat. There are custom makers that are overrated because just the price for the quality is not even in line, but I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't buy. I really don't care. I try to give good information so you guys can make good purchases, but ultimately if you end up buying something different than me, then I don't care. I've already upset Jack. Jack's upset, guys. I'm talking about the Para 2. And I have a pretty nice, I've got a Para 2 with the upgraded Flytanium scales, and it looks really nice, and these titanium scales are really cool, but blade to handle, I don't know, it's okay, but look how much blade you're getting, just for this knife. I don't know, it's okay, and I have one for a size comparison because like the internet demands it, but I honestly never carry this knife. I've probably cut 2 or 3 things with it, not because I hate it, I just look what's behind it. Hopefully you guys get it. So we'll see how many people rage quit this live stream right now because of that. Yeah. What is up, Yannick from Switzerland? So Mark Tudor says, let's be honest, Spyderco is overrated. Ooh, dude, that's a tough one. I think certain models are overrated. I also think the Shaman is overrated, but like the Delica and the Endura, those are the knives that we all started on. I've got some real fond memories tied up with like my first Delicas and stuff, and custom scales and all that other crap I modded on those. But yeah, Spyderco does keep upping their price, and people are going to keep paying it because they are good knives. So I don't know, man. That's such a tough one. I have very fond memories of Spyderco as a whole. So yeah. Yeah. All right. See, now we've got the chat hopping. You shit on the Para 2 a little bit, and people are jumping in. So, all right. Whoop. Let me look at some of the other questions that I had from Instagram. I don't want to ignore people. All right. So I went over the Chaos Samurai. What are your favorite knives these days, or other EDC items? Blade stock and cutting performance. Why companies prefer thicker stock compared to traditional knives? All right, a lot of good questions. Thoughts on CRK? Jack asks. I did a pretty in-depth video on the Sebenza 21. Again, definitely check it out. I hold Chris Reeve knives in very high esteem. North Arm Skaha, I think that's overrated. it's got good action, sure, but it's just such an ugly knife. But again, you know, they're a small company. If you like them, absolutely support them. I don't want to say bad things about... I try not to say bad things about small businesses who are, you know, just trying to put food on the table, but I think it's a freaking ugly knife. And I'm sorry for saying that to them, but yeah, it is. So, Lionel Marks asked what the weight is on this thing. I don't have my scale in a good spot. I'm not quite sure where it is right now, but it's heavier. That's for sure. Where's my scale? Yeah, I don't have my scale in a good spot. I apologize. Okay, what do you do for sharpening, and what do you think of ballast songs? I like ballast songs when they don't have a sharp edge because I don't need to bleed all over the place, but I do like ballast songs, and I do like watching the videos of people flipping them. Do you like booze? Yeah, booze is fine. Haven't had anything since the original, but it seems fine. So, do you know how to get a hold of Rayot warranty? I got a K2 and it's missing a handle screw. Tried emailing. There's a Rayot Knives USA that's supposed to be handling the warranty work in the US. So I would reach out to that specific Instagram page and try them. Perhaps that might be a good spot to go. Speaking of Rayot, there's the Mini Horizon D, which probably one of the better knives. Haven't had my hands on a Neon Zero, but and for the people watching, that's a Shirogorov Neon Zero. But I would like to get my hands on more Shirogorovs. Yeah. Hilo, can you talk about your Benchmade Freak? It's awesome. I really like it. One of the better knives to come out of Benchmade in a long time. So yeah. All right. So someone did ask me what my daily carry is as far as pistols go, and you guys are here for knives primarily, but why not? So here's my daily carry when I get the chance to carry. It's a Glock 43X. Does have the tritium high-vis, what are these, Mariglow sights. And then I got some custom stipple work from a guy here in Arizona called the Godzilla pattern. So, and I primarily carry in my Stealth Gear vent core holster. This thing actually breathes really well, and as you can imagine in Arizona, that's absolutely necessary. And yes, there is one in the chamber, and I'm not going to safety check it, so we'll just all have to get over it. What are the absolute knife no-goes for you? Probably crappy pocket clips or overly thick blade stock. So 520 versus 23. The 20 is obviously a lot more carryable. The 23 feels more premium. Get out the 777. I don't have a ZT 777 anymore, Lavender Pants. It's been a long time since I had one. So TKO593 says he EDCs a ballast song all the time. Sharp ballys teach good form the hard way. Yo, man, that's cool, but I'm on a high deductible insurance plan. I don't need I don't need a sharpened ballast song in my life at the moment. You know what I mean? So not trying to max out my out of pocket on my insurance. So carry a G43-2, Glock 19. Yep. 999. So Lavender Pants, I don't have the ZT 999 anymore. I got an offer that was too good to pass up. So unfortunately, yeah. Hooligan's talking about CZ. I have a CZ P07 and a CZ Scorpion, and next year I'll probably get a CZ Bren 2. So big CZ fan, as it were. All right. Let me clean this one off. That's dirty. Whatever. Yeah. That's glorious. Alright, what are some of the other comments? How and well do you usually sell your knives? I typically do it on Instagram, and I always include videos when I sell knives, and it just makes things a lot smoother. Top 3 most carried knives, Eric asks. I have over 90 still, so I just rotate through whatever floats my boat. Do you think Striders are being sold on the secondary for too much, Zach asks. Honestly, I don't know. I've never owned a Strider. I have no desire to own a Strider. Maybe that makes me a bad person or a bad knife collector. They've just too many QC issues. Just don't even care. Now, if another company starts making Striders, yeah, sign me up. It's cool designs, but just too many issues. So, yeah. Here's another cool one. This is the CZ. I'm sorry. This is the Liang Ma Field Duty. So that's a pretty sweet knife. Let's put it here. What do you think? All right. Medford makes Striders, lol. They might be better now, John. I remember hearing about some of that drama. If you're not having to send in half the knives to get bigger stop pins, then, you know, that's probably good. So what do you think about Medford making new Striders? Again, if Medford's going to do it better than Strider did, and you're not going to have lockup issues or have to send it in to get a larger stop pin because you have lock rock, then more power to them. You know, they're USA made. I don't like Medfords at all either, but if they're going to produce a better product than Strider could, then honestly they should have had Medford start making them a long time ago. So, yeah. Drake Dragonheart, this is a sticker. Anytime I sell knives, I always include, you know, the sticker with the sale, or I always throw it in the box every time someone buys a knife from me. So, yeah. ProTech makes a nice Strider. That's true, Ken. So ProTech does make some nice Strider automatics. That's one I would consider picking up. I do like ProTech as a company. I think, is it Dave, the owner of ProTech? What a stand-up guy. Just an amazing ambassador for the knife community. So I love ProTech, even though I don't have any right now. All right. Mr. Unu says that this is amazing, and I agree. If you guys haven't been following Liang Ma, he has some stuff. His new 2020 catalog, he has a smaller version of this knife that I'm really, really excited for. Don't get me wrong, like, I really like this big one here. It's incredible. But nothing wrong with a more, you know, carryable version of it as well. So really stoked for Liang's 2020 lineup for sure. Quality Sharpening Services, be the example, asks, dude, my guy, I used to use a guy named Bloody Sharp Edgeworks. He worked at Blade HQ. Did a great job. He dropped off the radar. He deleted his Instagram. So I don't have a specific sharpening guy right now. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a good recommendation. I do need to look around, though, and find someone who, you know, if I'm recommending a sharpening person to people, they have to be on top of their stuff. They have to sharpen well, but they also have to be on top of their, like, customer service, response time, turnaround time, because just like modders, I've seen sharpeners like get overloaded, not send knives back, and just it kind of goes to shit. So yeah, I need to look for someone. Lavender Pans, check out Ballard Knives. That name sounds familiar, but yeah. This top one is a Rockstead TEI. Look at that gorgeous ray skin. That's real ray skin inlaid into the handle. Oh, I need another Rockstead. Here it is. This one is in the YXR7 tool steel, and it is DLC coated. So this is a polished and then black coated blade. So even though it's coated and it has a black coating, it still has complete reflection. Rockstead are absolutely amazing. I do want a Shin. Shin's on my wish list. So yeah. Yeah, different sharpeners. So yeah, Lavender Pants, I've heard of Ballard Knives. I don't recall who they are. Again, if it's just a fixed blade maker, I don't have any use for fixed blades, so I don't know. Okay. Yannick says, I've heard of Rockstead lockup issues. Is that still a thing? Yannick, I've never heard of that. it doesn't mean it's not a thing. I just haven't heard of it. So, yeah. Yeah. So anyways, a couple different Rockstead dealers. So one of the other questions is, someone asked me what I'm looking forward to, what I would like to see in 2020. So again, as far as what I'm looking forward to, Liang Ma has an amazing 2020 lineup. He's got some really cool integrals. He's got some smaller knives of some of his current designs coming out. But he's got a really, really solid lineup. Again, they're not they're on the more expensive side, but honestly, for what you're getting, the guys who do collect or buy these would agree that they're still amazing. For the price, you're still getting something really good. So, yeah, look at that big old full flat grind. And Riot does cryo quench all of their edges, so they don't burn up the edges in heat treat. That's something that David Dang has talked to me about for a long time. So, yeah. All right, so really cool stuff here. Some of the stuff that I would like to see from ZT, I would really, really like to see this concept in a different design, which is a sub-frame lock on washers, full carbon fiber handles, probably 3.5 inches, and you know, just a slightly different design. This one, the 850, was a bit divisive because of kind of that whole 6-shooter thing here and here, and people didn't really like that, but it's still an amazing knife, and I'd really, really like to see kind of more along these lines. I'd also like to see a smaller version of the 640, like 3 1/4, and I did upgrade the pocket clip. I think it's just a really good knife, really good Emerson design, so would like to see a smaller version of that from ZT. And then, you know, I've already talked about this one, but I think the Kershaw has some really good stuff this year, and perhaps I'll grab some more of those before the year's out, but Kershaw's done really good stuff this year, so yeah. All right. Cost of the Rockstead, Jack G Hobbies was asking. This one will run you, I think, 16 or 1700. So, yeah, they're all going to pretty much be over 1,000 though. So that's just the reality. Unfortunate, but the reality. All right, let's see. All right, lots of comments. The polishing is made in heaven, Mr. Unu says. Yeah, the polishing on Rocksteads are outstanding. So, some people use Apostle P for sharpening. I know he does it full time. Haven't tried We Knives Warranty, but Richard is saying We Knives Warranty is great. How do you like your Gavco? Colin asks. Really fond memories with Gavco. Some of my first customs were Gavco, and the most customs I've owned overall were probably Gavco. Mark's talking about better heat treat from ZT. I haven't had any issues, but perhaps I'm not using them hard enough. Hard to say. Tristan also has an 850, which is awesome. I haven't had any locks fail on my ZTs, or any issues with lockups. So, but I'm not taking them and beating them. I'm not really taking any of my knives and my folding knives and beating them against, you know, rocks or anything. So, yeah. Eric asks, Austin, what do you think about the challenge videos or open tag videos that many YouTube channels do? Is that something you would do? Top 10, top 15 best folders? Ooh, Eric, you're trying to put me in hot waters. I don't like those videos, typically. It's just clickbait, and, you know, designs go out of production all the time. And I really don't care about how many subscribers I have anymore. So I don't do those clickbait type videos. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll talk about my favorites, but, you know, who am I to say what your carry needs are or what weight constraints you have? So I get that we like to categorize things and have like a top something or another, but yeah, just I don't know, man. Just makes me feel kind of yucky. So, but open tag videos, I'm not quite sure what the open tag videos are. I just kind of do my own thing, so yeah. I don't think I've tried the Best Tech Ghost footprints. Thoughts on Sharp by Design? I like Brian. He's kind of an asshole, but he's a fun asshole. So, and he does really good work. I was carrying my Sharp by Design Void yesterday, but yeah, I like him. He's fun. I like upsetting him all the time too. All right. Is ZT lockup issue still a thing? Yeah, you know, again, we all saw the whacking the knives, and you know, Chris Reeve knives also don't hold up well to, you know, to spine whacking in the same. I mean, a lot of folding knives don't hold up well to spine whacking, so they're just not made for that. I mean, should the knife fail on you in normal use or even hard use? Absolutely not. But if you're going to sit there and beat it against something and keep doing it until it fails, I think eventually you're going to win. If you really want to spine whack your knives, then, you know, get cold steel knives with the triad lock and just knock yourself out. So Jack asks, why can't I super chat? I think super chat's the one where like people pay to post a question. I've never enabled it. I don't want you guys to have to pay to ask questions. Just like I don't also have a Patreon, and I don't want you guys to pay me for content. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't really want to take money from you guys. I'd rather you guys buy your own, you know, things that make you happy rather than give me money. So that's just kind of my ethos. So yeah. All right, I think there were other questions too. I don't want to not answer questions that people took the time to ask on various platforms. So, all right, let me look at YouTube questions. So, knives on my get list. All right, so knives on my get list, and I did do a post on this on Instagram a little while ago, kind of what my wish list is for right now. But there's a very specific version of the Osteo that has a black DLC frame, has this engraving work here, and then like little gold inlays here that I want. It's over at PVK Vegas, but it's $2,700, so that's going to be a while. I also want a Rockstead Shin. And then I want the new Shirogorov F3R and L something or another. Those are kind of the three on my wish list right now. So, all right. So, ZT640 or Ferrum Forge Exec. I mean, so here's the funny thing. Anytime you ask someone, hey, should I get a knife that you currently own or should I get a knife that you don't own? You know, I'm probably going to recommend the one that I do own because that's what I have experience with. I'm sure the Exec is fine, and you know, Ferrum Forge and the Wheat Collabs have been really good, but I just don't have enough experience with it. But I do like the 640 a lot. I did have to change the pocket clip though, so just keep that in mind. I didn't like the factory pocket clip. It was too tight. Next watch purchase. That's a tough one. Future Rust and Dust. Either an Omega or another Tudor is probably going to be my next one. I mean, it could potentially be a Rolex. I was fortunate enough to get promoted on Friday, and it was a really, really big promotion. So it's not out of the scope to perhaps get a Rolex this next year. But, you know, bang for your buck, you get way better bang for your buck with Omega. Like maybe an Aquaterra, or again, Tudor still has a lot of really good value in their lineup, so yeah. Alright. You give us entertainment though, and if someone super chats, you earn that? I don't know, man. It's just, I really just don't like taking money from you guys. I just don't. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I need to do a whole video on that subject of, you know, production samples versus Patreon and ethics and blah blah blah. I just don't really want to take money from you guys. So yeah. Does your deadlock have any wear where it makes contact while moving? Just got mine. John, it does not. That doesn't quite sound right. You know, hit up Gavin and double check with him. But yeah, that doesn't quite sound right. M390 at 56 HRC, you might as well just have a VG10 blade at that point. Certificate of HRC with high-end knives. I don't really think it matters. Either you trust the manufacturer or you don't. A certificate doesn't really prove anything. So, because I could, you know, you have to keep in mind when production companies go through and they're producing hundreds or thousands of knives at a time, not like these, but like this one, they will typically do QC checks and HRC checks on perhaps 1 out of 20 is kind of the accepted range in large-scale manufacturing. And so for them to go through and do it on every single knife would raise the price astronomically. And then again, it comes to, you know, either they're hitting the range or they're not. If it's a quality heat treat, it should be between, like, you know, half a, you know, like 1/2 HRC either direction. That should be the standard variance. So either they're doing it right or they're not. I don't think a certificate is really gonna change that. Or if they try to, the cost would be so much higher that it wouldn't really be worth it, or it would start to price what we might consider affordable knives outside of an affordable knife range. Like, you know, this one, this Beg Knives Osteo, this did come with a certificate of authenticity, and it did come with a specific HRC, but, you know, this was a $1,600 knife. This Rockstead, you know, came with a certificate of authenticity with a specific HRC. This is a $1,700 knife. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's just, it is what it is, man. So, is that right? Is that wrong? Who am I to say? I mean, I don't own, you know, production companies. I'm not trying to put stuff out there, but you know, I always try to see things from kind of both sides of what is realistic and then what we can hope for in a reasonable price range. So, yeah. All right. Ooh, another company that I'm excited for some new stuff this year. Let's move this one. And that is Guardian Tactical. They have, they've got some new stuff coming this year. I can't share it or shouldn't share it yet, but I'm excited about some of the new stuff they have going on. I think they produce some of the best autos outside of my Grant and Gavin Hawk deadlock, of course, which, you know, we're talking 300 versus my deadlock was 1,300. So just good value there. All right, looking at some of the other questions. Oh, someone asked what my first custom knife was. That was a Brian tiebreaker, I think. And it was a button lock flipper, and it had really, really bad button lock stick, like really bad. And I didn't know any better. I thought that was normal, and I was like, this sucks. And I sold it to the next guy, and he was like, hey, there's something wrong with this knife. I have to ship it back to Brian Ty, and you know, since I bought it from you, I want you to pay for, you know, like half of the shipping and stuff. And first I was like, screw this guy, and then, you know, once I kind of understood the situation, I was like more than happy to actually cover all of the shipping, I think. So yeah. Oh, my chat stopped scrolling. That's annoying. Holt Brian Nadeau controversy. I can't really speak to it. I'm not involved in it. I don't really know the particulars. I haven't talked to both sides. So, and then I've had a relationship or, you know, friends with Brian for years. So I am not well enough educated or informed on the topic to really give too much opinion. But I do buy stuff from Brian, but I have not bought anything from the Holt. So yeah, that's what we would consider a highly biased opinion. Do you think the prices of sugar garlics and Grismos will drop once the supply is up? Hooligan57 asks, and on the secondary, they're not gonna reduce their direct prices, but on the secondary, yeah, they're already going for lower, and as they continue to produce more, they'll continue to they'll continue to just drop in price. Which again, I'm fine with. If you can get like a Shiro on the secondary market for a good price, more power to you. I really, really like them. They're just ridiculously expensive for what they are. So, all right, Protex Mordak. Yeah, I had one. That one was really good. Their button lock was outstanding. The smoothness was outstanding. Again, I really like Protec as a company. So, love Rolex. Yeah, costs are insane. Design collab. I might do something this year. I mean, I don't know if people would actually buy it. Again, if I do a design collab, it's not going to be a situation where I'm getting kickbacks for it. It would just kind of be something fun to do, because I wouldn't really want the price to be higher. Because again, this is definitely not about money for me. In fact, it's just a money pit. So. But yeah, I might do something this year. I did talk to a manufacturer about it, just to kind of do something fun. But it wouldn't be like for financial gain on my part at all. So, okay. Yeah, fatty catty. I don't know, man. I don't disagree with you. So, okay, what's the difference between the tie and the shin? Next to my list. Slotted hardware. I wish the Mini Buster had slotted hardware that helps disseminate my full size. Yeah, Fatty Catty, that was one of the really, really cool things about the, and I don't have it next to me, but one of the really cool things about the Snex Buster and Mini Buster, or the full-size Buster, was that he designed it to be serviceable by a credit card if need be. So he raised the pivot up. This isn't necessarily a good example, but he did a single slot and it was raised up above the scale, so you could tighten it with a credit card if you had to. And that's one of those things that I really like about Snex, is just, you know, just incredible forethought into the design. So someone asked what the difference is between the tie here and then the shin. This is a 3.5 inch blade, and then the shin is a 3.75 inch blade. The shin is a 3.5 inch blade, so it's a little bit shorter and it has a slightly different handle pattern. I just really like the full size of this one. I like the blade shape. I like that it had more Stingray inlay because it's a longer handle. So this one was just, for me personally, kind of the quintessential Rockstead, and I absolutely love this knife. So, all right, appropriate price range for Shiro on the secondary. I don't know, man. In a perfect world, it'd be like 200 less than table price, but it should be less than table price at this point if you're going to be looking at it. Otherwise, why would you even get it? You know, you could just buy direct. So, may I ask who 1 or 5 legendary folding knife maker like Michael Walker? Michael Walker is the forefather of the liner lock and many other mechanisms. He's up there, I think. Ron Lake, Ron Best, Stan Wilson. I think those are some of the ones that I'm aware of off the top of my head. There are other makers that are kind of even older school than I know who produce some really amazing stuff. But yeah. Gregory asks how my wife is doing. She's doing well. She kind of stopped posting on social media. She needed a break, but yeah, she's good. She's tired of being around me on quarantine, though. She wants to go back to the gym. Let's see. All right. Eric asked the most excited knife you plan to give away. So I bought my dad a Benchmade Mini Griptilian with the 20 CV steel and the gray G10 handles. I bought that for my dad at Christmas time because it's under 3 inches and it's easy to use, premium steel, and he lives in LA, and so it had to be under 3 inches, so that's what I bought him. But I'll probably send him my other version, the blue one that I have of this, an S35N. I know he really liked that, so it's not under 3 inches, but I'll probably send that to him. Okay. Do you think it's a problem that it doesn't have a lock bar insert? Footprints asks. I mean, there are knives that I have knives that don't use lock bar inserts, and they're fine. I generally prefer it for a maintenance type of situation because I don't have to worry about getting lubricant on the lock interface. But I think it can be fine. You just have to be, more mindful of kind of cleaning the lock interface on ones that don't have stainless steel contact points. So the Quantum by Shiro looks really nice. I probably need to handle one, but it looks nice. So I don't do anything on Facebook, Drake. I just hate using Facebook, and I stay busy enough just producing content on Instagram and YouTube that I really don't have time to mess around in the Facebook groups. If I didn't produce content, then all that time I probably would be spending on the Facebook groups or probably on the forums still, but all of my time goes to produce, not to really stay up on all those groups. So CRKT, Jamie asks, I haven't had a CRKT in years and years and years. They just don't excite me. They're just not quite in my range. The low end stuff that I get into is like Kershaw. I mean, that's as low end as I go. Not that there's anything wrong with the CRKT. I think they've been doing better from what I hear overall. So hopefully you like it and you get to enjoy it. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind knife gifts. Actually, I kind of would. I'm such a dick. Anyways, I don't even know how long we've been live streaming now. 4? Okay, it's been about an hour. All right, so here's the game plan. I'm going to try to get some new stuff in this week to share with you guys next week. Probably something more on the less expensive end, because again, I'm just getting kind of an itchy buy finger at the moment, and I don't need to be dropping any crazy money at the moment. Does Rockstead match their cutting reputation? Absolutely. They live up to the hype, no question about it. Ooh, just got an F3 and Quantum. F3 gets my vote. All Al the Science Pal says, yeah, the new F3 is the one that I want. It reminds me of a custom division F5 that I had once, and that knife was amazing. But someone made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and unfortunately that one disappeared. So Glenn R. Hoven, they look really nice. I hear they're not great in hand. Sunny, I hear the ergonomics aren't very nice from some of the. I was talking to some prolific collectors, and they don't really love them in hand. They're great to look at. Sabenza 31 changes, incremental. I like them. I think it was kind of the right direction to make small incremental changes. So Andrew picked up the 520. It's perfect. Good. Yeah, the 31, the 31, the Sabenza 31. I'll get one eventually. I want one with carbon fiber overlays to match my 21. That's a Blade HQ exclusive, and they haven't done them yet. So I'm sure it's going to be later in the year or next year. And then I'll probably look at grabbing one of those. So, yeah. What makes the new F3 different? Hooligan asks. So the new Shiro F3 has more of a belly to the blade rather than kind of like a straight edge. It's a slight difference. And then it's also supposed to be a little bit thinner than the prior F3s, which was kind of my issue with the prior versions of the F3. They were just a little thick in pocket. They felt great in hand, but just a little too thick in pocket. So yeah. All right. So anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and end it there. Again, I'll try to do one next week. Hopefully I'll have some new stuff for you guys, and I'll put up posts on Instagram and YouTube so you can ask questions. Hopefully I got to everyone's questions. If I didn't, I apologize. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching and interacting. This is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. And we'll just try to keep cool heads, stay quarantined, not buy too many crazy things. And yep. All right, guys. See ya. Take care.